when I look at a significant life-altering event, we prepare for it mentally, and we physically have our preps to go. But at the end of the day, are we really ready to go through a TEOTWAWKI event that we described in a previous video? So for example, I have my preps, and people are running out of food, they get hungry, they come into my house. I have weapons to protect myself, but am I willing to put my finger on that trigger and shoot somebody because they want food? That's the psychology that we all have to think about in terms of a TEOTWAWKI.
If you think your life is threatened, you're going to protect yourself, and that's just the way it is. And it's not something you got to think about. It's something that you will do. You will. Everybody has self-preservation built into their system. There's a big difference between harvesting to eat and to kill something to protect yourself. Now, right. No one knows how you'll react. You can be trained and trained and trained by professionals to say, this is what you do. You hit center mass. You do this. You do that. But can you actually pull that trigger when the time comes? I believe that most people would do it if they felt like it was self-preservation.
And that's the psychology of this, TEOTWAWKI that we talk about, that a lot of people, in my opinion, aren't prepared for. I was in the military, and the military is a wonderful place. I had a lot of training, I had a lot of experience. Even though I trained and my body knew how to react, I just mentally, it was an epiphany. This is real. I prepared for it, but for some reason I'm not really ready. Of course I was, but the point being is, even though I thought I was ready, it still scared me a lot.
If you said to your daughter, if you do not do this, your mother may be harmed, or I may be harmed, or you may be harmed, you'll be surprised what they can do.
My family associates a deer with, and you hear it a lot, with Bambi.
Bambi, I know. I know
it's got a name. If it has a name, it's got to have human characteristics. Yes. Like it talks. It's nice. Whereas in your part of the country, in Ohio and Alabama, it's food. This is, in Illinois it is that way too. But for my family, it has not been.
When I was raising my daughters, I would go out and I would hunt and I would harvest deer. And I would bring the deer home. Of course, you field dress them in the field because you don't want them to spoil. I would bring them home and I would skin them and cut them up right in the backyard, hanging in the tree, And my daughters would come out and watch. It's kind of the way you're brought up. But they understood that we were harvesting these animals to eat. There's a lot of people in my area that depend on wildlife to make it through times.
The psychology I also think about it is first aid and medical. If I saw somebody with a broken leg, I'm already squeamish. My whole mindset has to absolutely change, to do some of these practices we might have to do in a medical setting. You're very familiar with them. What if internal organs, are outside the body, and you have to put them back in and sew them up? Could you do that? But what if it was my son and I had to do that? Your whole psyche just changes from one of everyday life to one of survival. I imagine I'm going to do things that I never thought I could do before. My whole psychological output will change. Will I? And a lot of times I think this. I'm a pretty open person right now. I'm on Skype. I'm on YouTube. I think I will close myself off in a TEOTWAWKI and protect my family. Everything outside of that, I'm going to watch. But as long as it doesn't hurt my family, I'm not, Skype's not going to be available, but I'm not going to want to talk to anybody.
You're going to be open to other people's thoughts and someone else that can help you. You do what you can do. You wish you could do more, but you just can't.
In terms of my family, the young kids, how are they going to adapt to that change? Okay. There's going to be a lot of psychological, emotional changes for them. How are they going to do the things they've never done before? They're going to have to do. There's going to be more responsibility.
I think you're going to be surprised. They're going to acclimate a lot better than you may.
Yeah.
You may be surprised. When you were in the military and you were sitting there and all of you ran off the bus and and you did what you had to do, and you were like, what is going to happen next?
Yeah.
And all of you was in a group. Wasn't it surprising that some in the group did a lot better than you thought they were going to?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they do, because they have the ability to adapt. And that's what children have. Children have the ability to adapt.
Our two perspectives, you've raised your kids, and I'm in the midst of raising my kids, and so that's what I think about is their immediate well-being, security, food, protection. And they actually call our generation the hovering parents, because like a helicopter, we hover over them, and it's true, right or wrong. It's true. You've been there. You've raised your daughters, but yeah, and maybe I become too protective of them and not give them enough credit for what they can do.